Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the admission requirements for you to study in Canada. Now this video is applicable for everyone, whether you're an undergraduate, graduate, or a PhD applicant. Okay. One thing I want to remind you over here is that last time we talked about the admission requirements for the USA, and if you look over the screen over here, you will find there's a lot of other countries that students are usually interested in. And I asked you to comment down below if you would want another video for another country, and you did. You asked me to make one on Canada, so here it is. I'm making one. Still, just want to remind you that there's a lot more countries over here that you may be interested in when it comes to studying abroad. If that's the case, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be making another one for those. Okay, so for now what we're going to be doing is we're going to select Canada over here, and we're going to take a look at the topmost universities. See, the idea is that we're going to be taking a look at the admission requirements for the topmost universities. Let's say the best university in Canada. That's University of Toronto, of course. If you're able to basically understand the criteria, the eligibility for this top university, you will find that you're eligible for most of the universities in Canada, no matter which university it is. Okay, so that's the idea over here. That's why we're taking a look at only the topmost universities. I'm going to click view more over here. Just wanted to point out as a side note, we have a lot of information over here regarding whether you should apply to a university or not. Admission statistics, application charges, fee, the GPA, average GPA needed to get into these programs, the language scores, TOEFL, IELTS, whatever it is, you'll find all of these things over here. So might be useful for you. Just wanted to point that out. Now we'll continue with the video. So we have a lot of schools over here. See, every university has a lot of schools under it. School of Management, School of Engineering, all of these other schools. So it's the same case with Toronto. A lot of these are actually segregated by the locations or the campuses. Let's say we're going to open up maybe St. George. Okay, we see a lot of programs are offered over here. You can take a look at them. All of these are offered. You can find them. You can see which one suits you. Personally, for this video, what I selected was computer science. That's what I'm going to be finding out the requirements for. It's really the same case for most other programs. They should not have very different circumstances usually. Okay, but even then I'll point them out. Okay, so what I did was I went to the graduate admissions page for this University of Toronto, right? And I'm looking at the computer science program. What is required to get in? What are the minimum admission requirements? Okay, that's what I'm looking at. Remember that this is the website for the graduates, that's MS and PhD applicants, but I'm also going to be covering undergraduates, so don't worry about that. Okay, so over here what we have is, see, international and exchange students. So you as an international student, what do you need to get into this university? Okay, here are the things that you need. Number one, degree equivalences. So if you did a bachelor's program in your country, like I said, this is the graduate admissions page, right? So if you did a bachelor's program in your country, that's very, very equivalent to what's being taught in Canada, the bachelor's programs in Canada, that is, then you're good to go. And usually you will see that this requirement does not stop anyone. This is just customary. They've just mentioned it just because they had to. You shouldn't have an issue with this. Okay, again, it's gonna be very, very similar over here. I've written down documents needed to apply to universities in Canada, and the number one thing over here, I've already written this down, is that you need an undergraduate degree which is equivalent to an undergrad degree in Canada. If however you're an undergrad, basically you're going for an undergraduate degree, then you will need to have passed out of high school. Okay, so you should have passed out, or maybe you're passing out this year, or next year, whenever you are. In that case, you should be eligible to apply. You will be basically getting your high school degree before, or diploma, before you actually move on to this university. That's the University of Toronto, any other university, that is. So that's the number one requirement. We'll take a look at the other requirements over here. Okay, the number two is GRE test scores. Okay, now I'm going to write this a little bit differently, and then I'll explain it. Okay, so I'm going to say standardized test scores. Okay, and these can be different depending on your program. If it's an undergraduate, they may be SATs, they may be ACTs. Okay, they may be GRE, GMAT, LSAT, MCAT, depending on which field you're from. If you're from the field of medicine, you can also go for MCAT. If you're from the field of business, you can go for GMAT or GRE. Depending on which field you're from, these things change from time to time, but these are standardized tests. And let me tell you one thing about Canada. Canada usually does not require them. Canada just recommends that you add them, okay? And this is only for the top universities, by the way. I know some universities which do not even let you enter these scores into their portal. So don't be scared if you think that these are something that will stop you. Usually you will find that these are not required in Canada. The only thing you will require, I'll talk about that as well, okay? So they say that applicants who do not have a Canadian university degree are strongly encouraged to submit scores. Now this is the University of Toronto, right? They're still encouraging you. They're not forcing you, but understand that this is a university which is #1, okay? And that's why they have like a little bit higher requirements. So that's why GRE test scores are required. Still, I recommend, if you can, take a standardized test. Take the standardized test that you need to do. You do not know which one you need to take, SATs, GMAT, GRE, just take a look at the programs over here, select your program, find the requirements for that program through Google itself, and you will find that you will get to know which one you need. For instance, in this case for computer science, you need GRE, okay? We'll take a look at other things over here. Now this comes English language proficiency, okay? And let me actually just copy this. I'll tell you, this is probably the last requirement you can think of over here. English language proficiency scores, and usually you will find that these are tests like the TOEFL, the IELTS, okay? Some other tests also exist, but these two are the most popular ones. I recommend taking these only because that opens you up to a lot of opportunities. Like you can apply to almost every university, okay? So one of these tests, by the way, not both of these. So these are basically English language tests. You will need these mandatorily. You cannot waive them off. Usually that's the case. You will need these, okay? Unless the language of instruction in your country that you did bachelor's from is English, or there are special circumstances. If your country has a native language as English, then that's fine, but usually you will need these as an international applicant, okay? Then there's other things that they have not mentioned over here. Oh, they actually have mentioned over here. All right, so the other thing is the statement of purpose. I'm going to explain that in a bit as well. So you need the statement of purpose. It's really the same admissions process when you compare it with the US, very similar. See, the statement of purpose is your story, why you're applying to that university, what your background is, why this university will help you achieve your future goals, okay? You basically just have to bridge the gap over there, and that's it. That's what the statement of purpose is about. By the way, we specialize in that. We can help you if you check out YMGrad.com. That's right over here, okay? You can check out our services and everything. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the next requirement, and that is the alright, I actually skipped this one. These are actually not written like this. These are called letters of recommendation, okay? So usually, and this is the usual case, you will need 3 recommenders, 3 people from the industry or the academia to recommend you. Maybe your professor, maybe your head of department, maybe the CEO of the company that you were interning in. Anyone, depending on where you were, what your background is, what you've done. 3 people to recommend you, 3 people of reputation, of repute, to recommend you to this program. That they're going to basically say that University of Toronto, we think that this particular applicant over here, that is you, is good enough to get into this university. I think he will thrive in the program. He will be really good addition to the class, and he will make the curriculum more diverse, better, all of that, okay? So that's what they say in the letters of recommendation. You need usually 3 of these, okay? You need 3 of these, and you need 1 of these per university, okay? Alright, now we'll take a look at the other requirements. Resume, CV, pretty standard requirement, right? You need your CV. You need that even if you're an undergraduate usually nowadays. Other requirements are transcripts. Extremely important. You need official academic transcripts. Transcripts are 1-page document which has all the courses that you took during your bachelor's, or maybe your high school, and it has grade next to each and every course that you took, okay? So that's what is needed. Needs to be in English again. Alright, and what else is needed over here? It's the same thing, the proficiency test scores. So I think that is pretty much everything you need to study in Canada. That's the topmost universities in Canada. One thing I want to tell you about these universities is that Canada is pretty much very highly GPA centric. Usually universities in Canada want you to have a good undergraduate GPA, or if you're from high school, applying to an undergraduate degree, they want to see a good CGPA from your high school, right? So that's what they want. make sure that you have these, if your school follows out of 10 system, usually you would like to see somewhere around above 7.5 in most cases. That would be a good way to go. Okay, and the more the better, of course. If you have 9.5, that's even better. That's probably it. And if you want to check out the requirements for other programs, you have all the programs over here that these universities offer. You have the average scores that you need to get into this university. So check these resources out, guys. You actually can also see which people got into these universities. It's all on the website itself. I've pointed that out thousands of times. I'm not going to do that over here again. I hope this video helps you understand what you need in order to get into universities in Canada. And let me know which one you would like me to cover next, which country you would like me to cover next. Is it Ireland, is it Netherlands, is it Germany, which country, UK, whatever it is, I will do the video for you. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you like my efforts, share this video with the people who need it, and I'll see you in the next one.